Hello everyone. So today I thought of doing a video presentation on the impact of COVID-19 to financial statement analysis and also when it comes to financial reporting by most of the entities. So it is hard to imagine anything that is not affected by this virus. So is financial reporting. Financial markets world over have been affected, as you know, company valuations have been affected, and now there's an unprecedented volatility in the financial markets. All of us know as to what happened to Sri Lankan stock market the day it was reopened. It got crashed. Same thing is happening around the world. Company valuations have been severely affected, and all companies are going through an unprecedented volatility. So, what this is telling us? So, to understand what financial markets are telling us, we have to look at what is happening around the world. As you know, in many jurisdictions and industries, operations have been curtailed, supply chains have been disrupted, liquidity has taken a hit, and travel and freedom of movement are severely restricted. Virtually, there is nothing happening in the companies these days. Of course, some of these companies are reopened for business, but then even in those organizations, the 100% of operations developments not only separate many companies from their customers, as we know, affecting demand in the process, but they also erode people's purchasing power. Since companies are not operating at the full capacity, they are unable to pay salaries to their employees, and as a result, people don't have money to spend on the goods. So this affects both demand and supply process. So this prompt companies in multiple industries to defer non-essential spending and even make concessions customers, borrowers, and lessees to help them sail through the crisis. As you know, many companies are compelled to give discounts, rebates, extended credit periods for customers in order to collect debts. Even for banks, you'll have to give concessionary periods for people to pay, extensions for people to pay, and sometimes some of the debts you may have to write off. And companies, when talking about the companies and their spending, they will not spend on non-essential items and also on capital expenditure. They will defer the spending to future periods. So all these uncertainties diminish the business prospects, and as a result, companies are going through an operating risk or business risk. In other words, when the future growth prospects are limited, businesses face a business risk, which is measured by the operating fixed costs that they have in their capital structure. So more the fixed cost structure, higher the business risk that they are going to face. So later we'll discuss as to how to measure the operating risk, but for the time being, you can understand business risk is measured by operating leverage, and the operating leverage is an indicator of to what extent a company is having fixed cost in their cost structure. So more the fixed cost that they're having in their cost structure, more will be the operating risk. In other words, during a time of recession, during a time period like this, if a company is having a large amount of fixed cost with nothing much to show in the revenue, then those companies will make the most losses in these periods. Because of this operating risk, because of this business risk, companies will face a financial risk. Since they can't meet the operational expenses in order to pay salaries and other utility expenses, they will go for borrowing. They will want additional financing from banks and financial institutions. So as they increase their borrowing, they'll have to pay more interest costs and the financial risk of the company will increase. So this virus or COVID-19 will create a business risk, and on top of that, companies will create a financial risk as a result of going for additional borrowing. So business risk and financial risk combined will create a compound risk for organizations. So this is something that you have to be very careful when you're analyzing the financial statements of companies asking for finances, because not only an operating risk or business risk, these companies will also have a financial risk if they increase their borrowing. Sometimes they might ask for more borrowing, sometimes they might want to relax certain covenants of the previous loans that they have taken. They might want to reschedule some of the previous loans that they have taken. All these things will prompt them to reclassify debt. Sometimes they may have to reclassify long-term debt to current debt when covenants are released. So all these things you have to be very careful when you're analyzing the financial statements of a company after COVID-19. So to understand the impact of these changes or the impact of this uncertainty in underlying financial statements or the financial statement preparation process, we need to look at the practical aspects as well. All of us know, although companies have started, they have not started in full scale. In other words, in all the organizations, they are unable to get 100% of staff to come back to work. So this applies to the finance department as well. In finance departments also, most of the staff are still, they can't access the system. Now, in all these organizations, they may have an accounting system or an ERP, but for those people who are working from home, if they can't access the system, problems are compounded. There will be delays in issuing financial statement. There will be inaccuracies in the figures reported in the financial statement. So the CEO or CFO who are taking decisions based on these financial statements will rely on past financial statements or inaccurate financial statements. So that's a practical problem that all of you must remember. In other words, when you're going through financial statements of companies asking for finances, you have to be careful, because these companies might issue financial statements which might not be 100% accurate, or which might consist of outdated figures. So you have to give due consideration to the practical difficulties that these companies are facing at the moment in order to issue an accurate set of financial statements. Accounting, as we know, is a process which involves making a lot of estimations as well as valuations. All these estimations, valuations involve future cash flow estimations. In other words, if you want to make an estimate or a valuation of an asset or liability, what we do is we usually take into account the future cash flows. So when there is an uncertainty in the market, future cash flows can be greatly affected. So this will affect the values of reported assets and liabilities. Especially assets can be impaired, goodwill can be impaired, non-current assets can be impaired, inventory can be impaired, receivables can be impaired, investments can be impaired, values of liabilities can be impaired. All these things you need to give due consideration. So let's go one by one. How goodwill can be impaired? We know goodwill depends on the future cash flows, and if there are uncertainties with regard to future cash flows, of course the value of goodwill will impair in the future. So goodwill impairment adjustment that organizations will have to do in their financial statements. So when you're analyzing the financial statements of an organization, if there's a goodwill, you have to be careful. So with that goodwill, they might show a higher net worth of a company, but this goodwill, you have to understand, can impair in the future. The same goes to long-lived assets or non-current assets, because there can be a lot of changes. The use of assets or use of certain asset classes can change. There can be sustained drop in market prices. And as a result of that, the future cash flows associated with non-current assets or long-lived assets can severely come down. So if there is a significant drop in the future cash flows of non-current assets will impair. So those adjustments also you need to carry out in the financial statements, especially when you analyze in the financial statements of a company which has not adjusted the non-current assets. Normally, they might issue financial statements without adjusting for impairment. So when you analyze in the financial statements of such a company, you need to do proper impairment adjustments. Net realizable value of inventories will come down, as we know. This is especially in the case of companies dealing with perishables, inventories with short shelf life or expiration dates, or specific seasonal inventories. Especially companies in the retail industry, say for example, supermarkets will have to do impairment adjustment for inventories, since the net realizable values will come down. Same goes with investments, short-term investments, long-term investments, receivables, and also loans given. Especially banks are giving loans to their customers. The future value of these loans or the future cash flows associated with these loans can severely reduce. In other words, banks or other companies may have to write off some of these loans in the future. So therefore, the values of receivables, values of short and long-term investments, values of loans given can severely impair. So proper impairment adjustments, again, you need to carry out to the reported figures in the financial statements. In the case of large organizations, with high fixed costs, as I have discussed earlier, they are facing a high operating risk compared to other organizations. So if they don't have much revenue to show with these high fixed costs, these organizations are bound to report massive losses. At least for 6 to 7 months in this calendar year, they will report massive losses, but we don't know exactly how long this problem will persist. So as long as this problem persists, until they get their order books back to the situation which existed before the COVID-19, these organizations will report massive losses in their financial statements. Fair value measurements, again, as I told you, fair value measurements depend on the future cash flows. So if you're unable to estimate the future cash flows, then of course, not in a position to carry out proper fair value measurements. Sometimes one might take the current market value as the fair value, but again, current market values can severely fluctuate due to the market uncertainty. Debt modifications and loan covenants, as I had discussed earlier, people will ask for new finances, they will ask for restructuring of the existing facilities, they will want to release certain covenants that were there in the previous loan agreements. All these things will increase the financial risk of these companies. In other words, the financial leverage will increase. What you understand is when loan covenants are released, in previous finances, if there were loan covenants and if those loan covenants are breached or if those loan covenants are released, then organizations may have to reclassify their debt from long-term debt to current debt. So from long-term debt, the current debt will increase. In sense, because of the shift from the long-term debt to current debt, there will be an increase in current debt, and so is the financial risk of the company. Companies will record less revenue, of course, but in the efforts to increase revenue, they will incur additional costs. In other words, if they want to increase sales in the company, then of course they will have to give incentives to people. They may have to give rebates, discounts to customers in order to persuade them to buy the goods of the company. So in this way, in the efforts to increase revenue, companies will incur more cost than before. So on one hand, they will anyway record less revenue. On the other hand, in the efforts to increase revenue, they will incur costs which they did not incur in the past. So companies will incur massive losses as a result. There can be post-balance sheet items. We know post-balance sheet items are the items or the events that occur after the balance sheet did, but before issuing the financial statements. So normally when there are post-balance sheet events, you need to disclose the event along with an estimate if you are in a position to make an estimate. But if you are not in a position to make an estimate, you have to make a declaration that you are not in a position to make an estimate of that. Now, of companies whose financial year ended, let's say as at 31st December 2019, they may have already disclosed to an extent the impact of COVID-19 in their financial statements. But this requirement is more for companies whose financial year is ending as at 31st of March 2020. Now, those companies have to disclose the real-time impact of COVID-19 in their financial statements as post-balance sheet items, because those companies' financial year is ending on 31st March 2020, and the impact of COVID-19 we started feeling since the middle of March. So those companies will have to give more real-time disclosures than the companies whose financial year ended on 31st of December 2019. So these are some of the things that as bankers who deal with SME financing will have to understand when you analyze in the financial statements of companies who are asking for finances. So with this, I would like to end my presentation. In my next presentation, as I said earlier, I will take you through how we calculate basically the operating risk, operating leverage, and the financial leverage. So thank you very much.